You're listening to the Hello World Podcast, number 32. My name is Sean Wildemuth, and I'm your host. The Hello World Podcast is where you can hear from some of your favorite developers, authors, and speakers about how they got started in this business. We go way back to their first computer, their first code experience, and their first job. With me today is Lino Tadros. He is the president and CEO of Falafel Software, a Silicon Valley-based company with presence in Colorado, Texas, Michigan, Florida, and North Carolina, dedicated to providing world-class consulting, training, and software development for small, medium, and enterprise-level businesses. Prior to founding Falafel, Lino was a member of the development team at Borland for Delphi and C Builder. Lino has been awarded the Microsoft MVP status 12 years in a row for his numerous contributions to the C# community and is an expert in .NET, LINQ, ASP.NET, MVC, XAML, Windows Phone, and web services. Lino is an industry-renowned speaker and has given numerous presentations on 5 different continents since 1994. He currently sits on the board of directors of 4 Silicon Valley corporations. Lino and I seem to be traveling in many of the same circles. I run into him at a variety of conferences and at the MVP Summit. I've always found Lino to be the brightest light in the room at any of the functions I've seen him at. He's always surrounded by a bunch of people and is always great at making people laugh. I've always respected his technical prowess as well, and so I thought he'd be a great addition to the podcast. Today you'll hear some of that wit and that laugh that you'll never forget on today's show. Let's take a listen. Well, today on the Hello World Podcast, I'm really excited to have Lino Tadros on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sean. How about you?
I'm good. I know that you're usually in San Francisco. Is that where you're calling us from?
I'm in Santa Cruz Mountains, about an hour south of San Francisco.
Oh, okay. I think of the whole state as San Francisco, really. I don't want to go to LA, so figured that's close enough. Are you guys having a good weather these days?
It's wonderful. Yeah, we're spoiled here. It's like 68 degrees today. It's beautiful.
So you've been in this computer game for a long time. I'm really interested in how you got started because, we're about the same age. So I assumed you started with...
Oh, you're 25? You're 25 as well?
I am.
That's awesome. Great.
For the 20th straight year or something like that.
Perfect. Wow, I started really early. I wrote my first program. I was 12 years old. I was born in Egypt and I came to the United States. I was 19. So my first program was on St. Clair 128.
Nice.
Recording my code on a tape. So that's how old I am.
And was this something your parents got you as a kid? Was it something they had? How'd you get this in Clair?
Well, my father was a captain in the Merchant Navy, and so whenever he went to Germany or England or the United States as well, my dream was to get a PC. So he got me an 8088, which was the first time a person can have a PC at the time. Sure. Usually companies had that. So I just spent like 12, 15 hours trying to figure it out and having diskettes and reading books and writing my first basic program and writing all that kind of stuff, trying to make anything work. So I was fascinated. So after a few months, I started writing these things and changing some code from games, like the basic games that used to ship with DOS, if you remember those things.
I do.
Throwing the bananas between the 2 gorillas. Remember those? So that got me started at around 12 or 13 years of age. Yeah.
And was it a passion for programming, or are you just intellectually interested in computers? How?
Both, actually. I was interested in computers, and also I just wanted to write something that does something, so to call it mine. So I did this. So that was my interest when I was that young.
And were computers commonplace when you were a kid in Egypt?
Not at all. No, not at all. I couldn't actually find anybody around me that actually did any of that stuff. So it was difficult. It was me and the books that my father brought me from out of Egypt. So Just myself. Yeah.
And you came over when you were 19. Was that after all your primary school or?
Yes. I went to school, finished high school, went to college in Egypt for engineering. I stayed there for 2 years. And then I came to the United States after that to continue with computer science here in California in the Silicon Valley. Valley.
Oh, nice. And you've been there ever since. Is that correct?
Yes, I've been here for 25 years.
Wow.
I've been very blessed to live in the United States. Absolutely.
And so, you finished your college there. Did you envision being, just an in a room computer programmer, or did you have bigger visions?
It was my dream. It's like I just hope that one day I'll get a job in a computer company. And I remember when I used to send letters to a company here in the Silicon Valley called Borland. Do you remember Borland, Sean?
I do. I still hold a couple of grudges.
That was at the time, it was the third biggest software company in the world, and they were right here in Santa Cruz area, in a city called Scotts Valley. So I used to send them letters like, man, I would love to work for you. And one day I got the phone call, and they told me to come in for an interview, and it's like died and went to heaven. So I went to the interview, and I was not going to take a no for an answer. So I actually got hired. I got hired as a DBase 4 tech support engineer. That was my first job.
Wow.
So I worked there day and night trying to really master this and being able to go on the phone. At the time it was like 99 cents per minute to talk to us. And these were the days. So I worked very hard to be able to not to be stupid on the phone. So
we may have talked back then, because I remember having to call Borland support quite a bit.
So that was for DBase. So I went from the install line to the advisory line. And after a while, I moved to the C++ tech support team. And this is where really the magic happened. I worked with some of the best engineers in the country. Most of them right now are all CEOs or chief architects in major corporations, including Microsoft as well. And they taught me everything about really writing WinProcs and create Windows from scratch and what happened on the assembly inside. And so this is where I learned almost everything I know about the inside of a computer, really. Stayed there for a couple of years, and then I moved to Delphi, and that was the rest really of the magic for me. I got to work with Anders Hellsberg for a lot of years, and I really enjoyed it very, very much. He's my opinion, the best engineer or computer person in the world. Amazing human being.
He was doing amazing things back then, certainly. I mean, Delphi,
yes.
Caught like a firestorm.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we worked on Delphi for a lot of years, and we were so proud of the product, and the team was extremely strong. And then when he left to go to Microsoft, work on C#, this is when I stopped working for Borland, went and started my own company, the first one, and then Falafel Software after that. But since then, I've been mainly C# for the last 13, 14 years now.
Oh, I thought most of your business was Delphi. Is that correct? Wrong?
Oh, no, not at all. I haven't touched Delphi for over 13 years. So.
I'm mostly
No, no. No, I write COBOL.
Oh, that's good. Someone has to. Someone has to. And you guys have quite a big operation over there. In what sort of was the impetus to start your own company after leaving Borland?
Oh, man, it was a dream. But people usually don't want to start their companies because they don't want to take the risk. And when I started my companies, about 13 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And I said, like, oh, my goodness, I'm going to die. So I told my wife, hey, my dream is to start my company. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if we're going to be able to eat, but I'm going to go for it. She told me, what the heck? Go for it. I'm with you. So we started, and I was very lucky because I was speaking all over the world. So I had a good name between the United States and in Europe and in Australia as well. So from the first day, picked up the phone, called customers, and I got work right away. So I was very lucky. And then after a week, I hired a couple of people, and then another couple of weeks, I hired a couple more people, and the rest was history. We were very blessed. We had always great people working for the company, and it kept growing and growing to the point where we have a pretty good name in the consulting business worldwide. So that definitely sustained the company, at least for Falafel, for the last 12 years now.
Wow.
So it's been a lot of fun.
And so when you went from working for a really large corporation to running really your own shop. What you had to learn somewhere in there about how to hire good developers. I mean, because obviously you're not writing all the code at Falafel. You're such a big organization. How do you find the right people?
This is one of the most difficult things. I think with the years, I found out that if you treat your people right and you enjoy their work, other people will be interested in working with you as well. So one of the things that I'm very, very proud of at Falafel Software is that 75% of the employees have been with me for 7 years or more.
Wow, that is a high retention rate in this business.
Yeah, we're very, very blessed about that. I have several people who have been with me the entire 12 years. So this is really something I'm very, very proud of. And that usually is a big selling point when we get great hires coming in. When they see that, they understand that this is a family base and people love working here and they grow. They're very, very well paid individuals as well. And the company is very generous. I'm very proud of all the stuff. But the way to actually hire the best is that you have to create an environment where people can learn, move forward, increase their technical abilities, and have some fun while they're making money as well. All the stuff has to happen for people to say, like, there is no reason for me to go anywhere else.
Sure. And training is a big part of your business as well, isn't it correct?
Yes, we do a lot of training actually on partners products like Telerik and Smart Bear and Microsoft, of course, and Xamarin lately for the last year now. We've been doing a lot of work for that as well. So, yeah, we do a lot of training for specialized, like Sitefinity, for instance, is a CMS system from Telerik. We do Test Complete for Smart Bear, a lot of Microsoft stuff like MVC, a lot of JavaScript training as well. And of course, we go ahead and watch your videos on AngularJS from Pluralsight. We learn a lot, and then we go make money out of it. So thank you, Sean.
I think I'm leaving some money on the table. I should have known that before now.
Check is in the mail, Sean.
Please. So as you started your business, you got customers and you grew them. Ooh, that was a big truck that just left out. Cut that out. As you started your business and started to grow it, was there a time when you had to step back from being technical?
No, actually, I didn't want to do that. Till today, I still write code for multiple projects on the team in here. Unfortunately, management alone doesn't excite me. So if I'm not writing code, it gets a little bit boring. But the truth is, I have to write my code at night. During the day, there is so much stuff going on between our 7 offices here in the United States and the Dubai office and the Toronto office. It's very difficult to try to do any coding during the day. So I go home, open up my office, and this is when I do my work at night, coding-wise. But during the day, it's all business. Sure.
And that part of the business of managing those projects, do you when you're looking at the people that are going to be working for you, do you have an idea whether they're going to be better at leading other developers or being really good, in the trench developers?
Yes. I actually try to hire people that are consultants, not developers. And there's a big difference between the two.
And what do you
developers usually... I'm sorry, go ahead.
And what do you think the big difference between those two monikers are?
I believe you could be an excellent developer, but you still cannot be in front of a customer. That's my personal opinion.
Sure.
This is a good developer. You can put them in front of a computer, put the food underneath the door, and everybody will be happy. But a consultant, I need you to, of course, know the big picture, understand how to code, of course, but at the same time, how to sit in front of a customer on the whiteboard and explain why you did it the way you did it, what your recommendation is, and try to give and take with the customer and also with the rest of your team as well, so people can understand where you're going. And that's usually not the case for most developers. Most developers just give them a specific thing to do, and the good ones will do a great job at it, but they cannot bring the whole team and the customer together with you.
Does that mean that the consultants have to understand the sort of give and take between business and technical? I mean, do you find pure developers are too stuck in trying to find the pristine, perfect technical solution?
That's true. And a lot of times I actually train the team here on how to do this part because it doesn't come easy to a lot of people.
Sure.
So we get a lot of people that are very good technically, very strong technically. And we usually take the first 6 months of their employment to include them on all the talks that I have with the customer so they can learn from it, find out whenever something wrong happens, because sometimes the customer's like, no, that was not what I expected. And this is what I wanted, but I didn't really tell you very well. So we try to really meet with the customers more than once, especially in the beginning of a project. And my team here learned after definitely the first 6 months of their employment, each one of them, how to give and take, how to make sure that you're on the same page with the customer, especially early on, so that everybody is comfortable and moving forward. So that worked very well for us. But sometimes we have to train, yes.
And do you like projects that are longer lived or shorter lived, or at least, within the consulting you do?
Well, that's a very tough question. I know you, Sean, you know probably better than me about this. If you have a long project that has like 5 or 6 people on it, it's very lucrative, of course, but it's very scary because when that project, for instance, ends or stops or anything happens to it, now you have 6 people that you didn't have to worry about before. So what I like is smaller projects, 2 to 3 months, and then have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people on it. These are the kind of projects I like. The problem with that, of course, is that you have to have a lot of them keep coming. So they have to have the pipeline always full.
Sure.
So between the long-term one that lasts for 2 to 2.5 years, which we have several of those, and the ones that are 2 and 3 months and then you move on, having a combination of the two is healthy in a company. But I wouldn't actually have a consulting company that have 2 or 3 only big projects. That's very scary. Also, the very small projects also scary. So have a combination of the two is always very healthy, and it worked for us for the last 12 years. So that's my recommendation for those listening to the podcast, not to put all their eggs in one basket.
Well, that's really good advice, because we all know those consultants out there that have the one big client that they end up being essentially employees of that client because they can't back down or walk away from them. Yeah.
Also, don't forget, Sean, that my engineers also part of the reason why they love their job is that they work on the latest and greatest. So for 2 to 3 months, they're working on, let's say, JavaScript stuff, and then they finish and they jump on an Angular JS, which is the latest and greatest. And so they love it because they don't get bored. Some people work on projects for like 5 or 6 years and they are not on the latest and greatest. So here, everybody works on the latest technologies.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And so let's go back a little to when you were working at Borland, because I'm interested in this. When you were working with Anders, what was the relationship like? Was it that he was running a giant team, or and were you still working in technical support, or were you working in development then?
So this is a fun story for your audience, John. So I was in tech support at the time, and Delphi 1, the 16-bit one, shipped in 1994, and they moved right away after shipping to doing the 32-bit one. And there was this new technology that nobody actually have ever heard of. It's called OCX. You remember that?
I do.
And the only product that used to make them is at the time was Visual Basic 5, the Creation Edition. Remember that?
I do.
And everybody's saying, how come Delphi cannot do OCXs, or what used to after that be called ActiveX control?
Right.
So I actually opened up my computer and I used to stay day and night trying to figure out what would it take to create an OCX in Delphi. Of course, I hit so many roadblocks. So Anders used to smoke. So every day at 10:30 in the morning, he used to go downstairs in the garage to smoke. So he had 7 minutes every day of a smoke. So these were my 7 minutes to run down and sit down next to him while he's smoking, to ask him questions about how to get Delphi to create ActiveX control. And he was excited to help me out. So every day we met for 7 minutes to give me more hints. So after I'd say about 3.5 months, I got my ActiveX control compiling in Delphi, thanks to his tidbits here and there. And the following week, I was hired in development for Delphi upstairs because I was able to do this. So that's my story, how Anders was able to move me to development from tech support, because I was able to get the ActiveX control, the first ActiveX control. And he asked me to demonstrate it in front of people in Long Beach in the Borland conference. So I went for the first time. That was my first time to talk in front of people. And I had almost 1,100 people in my talk trying to find out how to write an ActiveX control in Delphi. And I showed them 7,000 lines of code, how to say hello world on a click of a button.
As long as it was only 7,000 or the same 7,000 they could have, yeah.
It was just funny because at the time, Microsoft used to tell us at Borland to implement an OCX, you have to implement an iDispatch and an IUnknown, and that's about it. Of course, if you believe that, I also have a white elephant outside the door here for sale. There was 17 interfaces had to be implemented in Delphi just to say hello world, so that it can be contained in other containers. So these were the days. It was fun. We learned so much.
Well, you called it, fun, but the comm days weren't exactly fun for everybody.
No, it was not fun, but I knew it inside and out by that time. So it was fun for me, but I could see people actually pulling their hair out from comm and the reference counting and all that stuff. But the amount of time I spent with comm, I think they should have recalled it. I remember Don Box at the time used to, remember say comm is love?
Yes, I do.
Don used to say that. I used to actually change a little bit. I used to tell people, calm is like smoking. If you're not doing it, great. If you're doing it, you need to stop.
That's funny. I still have my Don boxers someplace in a storage. I don't know if you remember those.
That. I remember those. Yes, he gave it to me at the conference once. I had to hide it.
Yes. Yeah, because bringing home boxers to the wife. So how do you balance? You have this very successful business. How do you balance your family and I'm going to be a little selfish for a minute. I'm recently married, so this is a big concern of mine. How are you balancing running a very successful consulting company and being able to do what you want? Yeah, making your family happy, being there for your kids, and obviously for your wife.
First of all, congratulations, Sean. We are all, as you know, very happy for you for your marriage, and we wish you a great marriage and a wonderful time.
Thank you very much.
This issue is a major issue, and I hope all the people that are listening, and definitely you as a new married guy, is to make sure you understand that life is too short and family always comes first. I didn't always understand that because I was very ambitious about my career and I wanted to succeed. I wanted to learn more and more. So there was a time where I was working 15, 16 hours a day and so on. And I have to say, even now, sometimes I have to work these days, but I feel like always my kids, I have 2 boys, and my wife come first. So now when I get asked 3 or 4 times a year to go speak in a conference in Europe or Australia, believe it or not, I always take them with me. I don't want to be away without them. Only if they're in a school, I might not take the kids, but I always try to take them during the summertime so that they can come with me. I take time off and I just turn off everything and take my kids and my wife and go enjoy life and travel and have fun. Go to Disneyland, go to Universal Studio, go to Europe, go to Bora Bora, go somewhere where we can just be away from cell phones and Wi-Fi and emails. Yep. and just enjoy each other. So I would recommend to everybody is that to understand that business is important, but life is too short. Always enjoy your family first.
I think that's really good advice. So when you started working with computers, you had mentioned that you started playing around with BASIC, but when you got here in the U.S., what were the languages you were learning in school?
Oh, there was nothing. There is nothing in school at all.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it was all basic. And then I started with C, and C was hard to read from a book.
Yes.
It's only when I came to the United States here and bought the Charles Petzold's book. Remember the 3.1 book? Everybody started this way, at least from our generation.
Absolutely.
And we started writing our first 21 lines of WinProc and create window and understood how the whole thing works. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I feel sad for the people that graduate today and didn't go through what we went through because they really don't understand how the whole thing works on the inside.
Right.
And we got into a point where we had to write some assembly, had to write some C, to create the window and the WinProc. So we do understand all the way to the metal how the whole thing works. And right now, unfortunately, there is no time for a new person coming to the industry to understand or learn everything we've learned.
No.
Because just there is no time during the day. So you have to specialize really and go from there.
That's true. And how do you feel about languages? Because, you've had exposure to a ton of languages. Obviously, C# is one that you're very passionate about, and probably not coincidentally because of your relationship with Anders.
Yeah.
How does language, have a place in your heart?
I just loved the way Anders used to write code. I mean, for even good programmers, when you get their code, you have to jump right and left to see where this function calls this function and so on. And for some reason, whenever I used to get code from Anders to go through, you just read from the top to the bottom, and I never had to go back up and read something else. It's just the way of writing code is very simple, and he understood exactly what he wanted to do. By the time he sits down on a keyboard to write code, he already knows exactly what needs to happen. There was no scotch tape anywhere. So it was just a pleasure to learn from that kind of code. So whether it's C# or Pascal for Delphi, he taught us definitely how to read code and how to write code as well. So that was very, very important for me. I like languages that are easy to follow, easy to understand, and they do not put obstacles in front of you for what you're trying to accomplish.
Is it something you try to ingrain in developers at Falafel? It's something I'm sort of passionate about, this idea of being able to read code, not just debug code, but really read code. That seems to be, for me, a mark of good code. If I can't read your code, if I have to run it to understand it, there's a problem.
Yes, our interviews are, I have to say, unfortunately, they're a little bit tough. You will have to get interviewed by about 7 to 8 people, and each one is about an hour long. And usually people by half the way through, they just don't want to do it anymore. But we want to find out how you think. We don't expect everybody to know everything, so not knowing something is not a problem at all. We just wanted to make sure that that person will be able to learn new technology because they keep changing every year.
Sure.
So we wanted to make sure that they understand what they understand. If they don't know something, that's not a problem. But if I explained it to them, something that they don't know, by the end of the call, I would like to actually ask them a question about what I just explained, and they should be able to go with me, what I tried to teach them during the call itself. So it had been going very well. And I'm very proud also that Steve Smith, you know Steve probably, Sean, just joined the company. He's a process man. So he's also going to be teaching a lot here in the company about the way project and code and a lot of different things about the craftsmanship of software engineering is all about. So the team here is extremely excited to have him on the team as well.
He's excellent. When I saw that you guys had picked him up, I thought that was a great hire.
Yes, we're very happy.
Then you said when you interviewed, are you still doing a lot of the interviews?
Yes, I do a lot of the interviews with the other team members as well. I felt always in my career that knowing that your CEO is very technical is very important. I didn't want people to feel like you're going to have a CEO that have no clue about code or something like that. So from the beginning, getting asked about how the garbage collector works in C#, for instance, being asked by your CEO and educating on how that stuff, usually it gets a lot of respect from the team and the quality of the people we hire, because we don't really want to give them the wrong impression is that I'm a manager or something like that. So, sure. So it definitely makes a big difference for people trying to work here as well.
I could see that. Well, there's one more question I have for you. Hold on, I had it written down. I'm going to cut out this little blurb. So early on in your career, obviously Anders had a great impact on you, but did you have other people that sort of mentored you into this process? Did you have especially other entrepreneurs that had started their own businesses?
Yes, actually, I had several people actually that made a big, huge influence on me. One of them is Danny Thorpe, also one of the architects on the Delphi team. He went to work for Dell, and he's creating his own Bitcoin company right now, which is nice. Really awesome. Yeah. And I also have Steve Teixeira. He currently works for Microsoft. He's like a brother to me. One of the best people I know in my life. It was his birthday yesterday, July 4th. So, Steve actually is the head of the Internet of Things at Microsoft right now, and he used to run the C++ team for several years at Microsoft as well. He used to be the CTO of Falafel the first couple of years before he went to Microsoft as well, and he had a huge influence on me with his kindness and his generosity about teaching and showing you how things work. It was just an amazing time.
What are some of the lessons you learned from those guys that you don't want to tell? I mean, that you're willing to tell so people don't create the next falafel software.
No, I actually never felt like it's a competition. I actually embrace all competition, really. And my team knows that very well. I mean, I think there is work out there for everybody. And you have to be very good at what you do for people to want to hire you. But I would actually help other competitors. I know companies that wanted to start, for instance, in Europe and consulting, and I helped them to understand how to do it. And I have no problem with that whatsoever. But to go back to your question, what these people actually taught me, patience, one thing which was not really huge for me. I'm not a very patient guy, but these guys taught me definitely patient, taught me how to work with others very, very well. Taught me that you don't have to have a full team of all superstars. You can have some superstars, some very good workers, but not everybody have to be a superstar on your team to be successful. These are very important things to understand when you run a business.
Absolutely. So I've been trying something new in the last couple of podcasts, and you're going to be one of the guinea pigs. And that is, I want to ask you if there was one thing you could tell your younger self, maybe your 20, 25, 30-year-old self, that you know now that you think would have an impact on the kind of success you've had. What would that thing be?
drop that burger and that pizza, leave it alone, and lose some weight, so that when you are 43 years of age, you can actually run a marathon instead of actually rolling down the street.
That's good advice for all of us, as anyone who's seen me in person. That's very good advice. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Sean, it was a pleasure. And again, congratulations on the marriage, and I wish you the best, Sean.
Thank you very
so much.
And I'm sure we'll see each other soon.